that is actually solving a problem and a pain point, right? It's going to make it. So to your initial question to Adil, where you said that you raised money in a time when money was coming into Pakistan, and then he raised follow-up funding at a time when money really wasn't. So for my startup, what ended up happening was that we started raising money towards the very end of the bubble, right? So we started raising money in 2022. That's when a lot of money had already started drying up, and I was only able to raise $500,000 then, right? So we had to take a step back and build something that actually worked and made money on its own, so it could survive, because we didn't have the runway, we didn't have the liberty to spend, to just spend and grow and subsidize and gain traction and stuff like that. Today, when we go in front of investors, I've raised recently, just 4 months ago, another $1.5 million at a time when there's no money coming in, and that was based on what I could build with the $500,000 and survive for 3 years with it. So now everyone's like, oh wow, you actually built something that works, So I don't know if that answers your question.
So the gaps around, the key problems that you're solving, the gaps in
the key problems again. So what I meant to say was that as long as you're solving for what there's an actual pain point and gap, and in the e-commerce sector, I think what Adil and I are both solving for, which actually proves that it's an actual pain point, is fragmentation of courier services, so fulfillment, right? Cash flows for the merchants, and then access to capital for these small and medium merchants. So a lot of our e-commerce merchants, apart from the big brands like Khadis and Nishads of the world, 90% of them fall into the small and medium category, and they have absolutely no access to capital. So those are the main key points now. Points to focus on now.
So in e-commerce, primarily, it's about the more business you do, the deeper trench you dig for yourself. You don't have the cash flow, and that's what one of the main problems is.
So again, like I said, we've seen a lot of these younger couriers come in and solve for that as well, and that's what we're doing through aggregation. That no e-commerce merchant works with one courier partner, and the reason for that is because their deliveries are so directly linked to their own cash flows. The courier goes, picks up the package, delivers it to the customer, takes the money from the customer, but the merchant doesn't get their money back for up to 3 to 4 weeks. Now, if you're a large merchant, you may get your money back within a week, but if you're a small to medium merchant, if you go on all these Facebook forums, you have people complaining like, kabhi dene bhi hain ya nahi dene, 30, 40 day long cycles that your legacy courier companies were holding on to the capital for. So the merchant would make money, but they wouldn't have access to the capital they had made, right? That was a problem back in 2014, and largely, even though we have people solving for it now, like us, like them, and then a few others, it's still one of the biggest problems to growth for e-commerce merchants. And then access to growth capital. Cash flows to mil jayenge, but where are they going to get growth capital from? No bank wants to lend them money. No, we have fintechs who've come in for agri-tech or who've come in to help artisans. Nobody's focusing on these actual small and medium, e-commerce merchants who have digital data. You can use all that data to lend very mindfully to them. That's what we're trying to solve for at Smartlane. And these are the gaps we believe exist.
That makes a lot of sense, and I think it also gives us this perspective when the Abbas talks about, and Lolita talked about whatever works elsewhere might not really work here, and solving for actually a local problem, for example. So this primarily comes from a cash on delivery market space.